Alright, so we're going to give this another go. See if the quality is actually improved or if I'm just keep saying it is and it not being. So we're going to go over a Barbarian Eyes of the Earth build. So this set was revised for this season. So every time where you reduce the cooldown of Earthquake, Avalanche, Leap, and Ground Stomp by 1 second for every 30 Fury you spend with an attack. 4 set, Leap causes an Earthquake when you land. Leap gains the effect of Iron Impact, which just gives you 150% additional armor. And I believe it is increased. Yeah, its effect and duration increased by 150%. Increases damage of Earthquake, Avalanche, Leap, Ground Stomp, Ancient Spear, and Seismic Slam by 800%. And we are using all 6 pieces. So the head, shoulders, gloves, chest, pants, and boots. And I was able to put this set together pretty quickly because at the beginning of the season, you can see up here that you have little chapter objectives. And as you complete these, depending on what class you are, and you only get it once per one you complete, but you get a little gift that will be in your mail, which is down over here, and it'll give you 2 pieces each time. So I was able to put it together pretty quickly, and this set was a lot more fun than I expected, and it does a lot of damage. And the phone is ringing again at the perfect time. So the 2 times it's rang today, both have been during videos. Nice. So we'll just keep going with it. So the belt, Chalanix chain. So this is just for movement speed. You can use any belt here that you want, because we're going to be using Warcry. As I said, just added movement speed. Rings. We're not using anything special. I actually found a Convention of the Elements with Wreath of Lightning. And we have just an Oculus ring. I just haven't found good rings for this guy yet. You can use Bane of the... It's not in there, it's on my wizard. But Bane of the Trapped, always a good choice. We're going to be on top of everything for weapon. I like the Heart Slaughter for the physical skills. Obviously, if we found a better ancient weapon, we'd be using that instead. Wasn't able to get a socket on, again, not an optimal neck either. And the bracers just increase the damage of Ancient Spear, Boulder Toss by 100%, and when your Boulder Toss hits fire with a few enemies, it does 142% damage. So really just the core of this build is just getting the 6 earth pieces, and if you can always use a Royal Ringing, and you should use 5, but it's really just these set pieces that are going to be the main components in making this build work. And as far as certain stats rolled, I have 20% physical damage on the wrists and 25% on the weapon. So again, it's not anything too specific. Skill-wise, we're going to go with our primary is Earthquake Cave-In, because this will be the type of Earthquake we're using. Ancient Spear, Boulder Toss, so it'll expend all remaining Fury to deal 20% weapon damage for every point of Fury expended within 9 yards of the impact location. So that's going to be a huge single target damage because of our bracers. So we have Leap. I'm using Death for Above. You could use, Call of Ariad if you want, or Iron Impact. I just like the stun effect. Plus the Avalanche thing, or the Earthquake thing, excuse me, the one that we're using pulls in enemies anyway, so it's sort of... or you could use the launch. I mean, this will just do more damage, but it's really up to you. We're using Warcry with Impunity. You could also use Veteran's Warning. Both of these are very good, but we're using Impunity for the All Resist. Threatening Shout with Falter, which enemies take 25% increased damage instead of reducing their damage. So you kind of jump on top of them. Threatening Shout. Battle Rage. We're using all 3 shouts, but we Battle Rage Bloodshed. I mean, the AoE damage on this thing is absolutely disgusting. Passive skills, we're using Berserker Rage. No, we're not. We're using These are for another build that I was using, so we'll actually switch them up to the right thing. So Earth and Might, 30 Fury when Avalanche or Earthquake is triggered. Absolutely necessary for this, because you're going to be stacking a ton of Fury with how much you're going to be using for these. Rampage always, easy choice. Ruthless, easy choice, and Brawler. And you can switch these out for, well, I wouldn't use Boonable Kathos. I kind of like how these are set up right now. So the only one we switched out initially, I thought it was with a different build, but it's just Earth and Might. So those are the passives. What we got cubed is Blade of the Tribes. This was huge. I mean, it adds so much damage because Warcry and Threatening Shout cause an avalanche and earthquake. So all of a sudden, these two cry abilities, where this was just adding damage and this was doing nothing but generating fury, are now causing a lot. And I don't have any other ring in here yet, which is why there's a Royal Ring of Grandeur. So you can use anything that you want in this spot. So that's the cube. Paragon points had a lot from the wizard carryover, but it's really the same thing. It's just movement speed, the rest into strength. We have crit hit damage and crit hit chance maxed out. We don't need cooldown reduction for this build. Everything's going to be off cooldown very quickly. Defense, resist all. We're going to max out life. And then we have life on hit and area damage, because these two don't really matter too much. So that about covers the skills, abilities, gear, what's in the cube. Gym wise, nothing special. I mean, I said use Wreath of Lightning. There's pretty easy gym setup. I love Bane of the Trapped, which is the only one that I think is necessary. The other ones are on my wizard. You can still use like Bane of the Powerful. It's really personal preference. But we'll do a rift here, kind of show how the build works. So the Lut Socks, which we have cubed, allow us to leap multiple, like 2-3 more times within the actual thing. So you see we put the cave in. So it's basically just jump, pull everything in. And you can see our toughness is up to 70 million because of the iron impact. So basically whenever you have an isolated target is when you're going to use your boulder toss, because this thing does absurd amounts of single target damage when they're actually isolated. So you just kind of like, you know, let the earthquake, let the avalanche clear out all the small stuff, and when you have the big targets left, that's when you'll boulder toss. But you'll notice because of Earth and Might, so we'll boulder toss, expend all the fury. And watch how much earthquake and falter. So we'll Warcry, full fury. We use the threatening shout, full fury. So between jumping, you just want to expend the boulder toss when you're full of fury. And that's kind of the principle. You just kind of jump around and have fun with it. There are speedier sets out there, but I think this is just a lot of fun considering that the Eyes of the Earth set was pretty, I would say it was pretty underwhelming in the last patch compared to Whirlwind and things like that. So, which I think they wanted you to get this set because, for me personally, I only found these pieces for the longest amount of time when I first made this guy. I mean, it was just only Eyes of the Earth set pieces. And you could do different setups. You can add ground slam, seismic slam, if you want, because there are different variations the way you can do it. This is the setup that I like. And you might want to use ground slam or seismic slam if you didn't have the, well, it's cubed, but it's Blade of the Tribes, which luckily is a mighty weapon. I say luckily because there aren't all that many mighty weapons, or two-handed ones, so you can just use the cube to put a rare item in there. I think it's like 25 Death's Breath, and other common crafting materials, and you can upgrade it from a rare to a legendary. And so that tends to be the faster way to get, you know, the good two-handed mighty weapons. And that's how I got the Immortal King's Boulder Breaker for the another set, which kind of combines Raycors and the Immortal Kings. But definitely not as fast as the Wizard build. Of course, if we had a more dense rift, it would. I mean, the Boulder Toss just does so much when you have full Fury and they're isolated. Only bad thing about using the cave-in, you could easily sub the earthquake damage out if you want to do the fire or earthquake or ice or however you want to substitute the build. You don't have to do the physical one. I figure I should point that out because I just happen to have the Heart Slaughter for physical damage. So until I find like an ancient something else, this is what I'll use. Because if you'll note, if we get to a really dense area, I'll point it out. But because I'm pulling enemies in when I'm jumping, if I use my last jump and I pull everything in, I can trap myself. So like right here, I can't move out of these guys. I gotta kill them all, which can sometimes end up getting you killed. So don't think you have to use just the physical build. You can easily use any of the other earthquakes, just depending on what you like. Fill up the Fury Bar and Boulder Toss every time. And the big damage I would say is coming from, well, obviously you have Depth of 6 set, but having the Blade of the Tribes, huge advantage because of causing the earthquake and the avalanche every time you Warcry and Threatening Shout. Plus, for getting an early set, I mean, the toughness from the 4 set, gaining the 150% bonus to both Iron Impact and the duration, I mean, you're always at a ridiculous amount of toughness. I mean, I have nowhere near that great a gear, and I was able to rush into, you know, higher 40 level greater rifts, so I think this is a good starting set. They definitely wanted you to have it for as many pieces as they dropped for me. Yeah, definitely not the speediest thing in the world, but it's a fun build. Spin 2 of those and go grab the shards. Alright, but that just kind of showcases the elite build. I won't say that I hope this is better quality this time because there's no guarantee, but hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later.